Hey y'all, it's Aaron. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are having a spectacular day. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on how your thoughts influence reality and how you can make them work for you. Let me start off by saying reality isn't real, but our perceptions of reality are very real to each of us. So this is why some people may think of the glass as half empty or half full. You might know a person who is more of a pessimist that thinks the glass is half empty. You may think of it as half full, and for me, I think of it as all the way full because it's half full of air and half full of water. So based on that assumption, if you change your perception of reality, then your reality will end up changing. Because, for example, I used to be a very impatient person. I wouldn't, if I was stuck in traffic or something, I'd be like, damn, I'm stuck in traffic, what the hell, I'm late for work. And I used to be a very busy person. But that all changed when I discovered what I'm teaching you right now. For example, my brother, I used to get so impatient with my brother when he would do just really small little things that would just take 10 years. So for example, like if I wanted a glass of milk and he was pouring his own glass of milk, it would feel like it would take forever for him to pour the glass. So that used to get me feeling very, very impatient. But when I changed my perception and I said to myself, let me allow this to happen no matter how long it takes. And guess what? It happened. And I didn't have to be stressed about it. And since I've transformed myself from a more impatient person to a more calm, patient person, now I've transferred that to different parts of my life, and it's applicable to other things such as in work situations or driving or something like that. But I mean, of course, I still get impatient like everyone, but I do my best every time to remind myself to, instead of reacting, I take a step back and I decide to act in a certain way instead of reacting. Alright, so this leads me to the notion where you should try to develop a more internal locus of control. Now, you have either an internal locus of control or an external locus of control. If you have an external locus of control, a lot of times that will mean you have more of a victim mentality, or you believe that life happens to you and that you can't control anything that happens. If you get a bad grade, it's because of the teacher, it's not because of your work ethic. So you really want to do your best to change that, shift that perception so that you understand that you control more of your life than you actually think you do. And an easy way to do this is to only focus on things that you can actually control. Obviously, if they're out of your control, why would you be upset about them? You can't control any of it. So instead, focus on what you can control about the situation, and your life will be exponentially better. Another way to make this easier on yourself is to start to meditate. Now, I know it sounds like crazy and it sounds like, you're a monk just zoning out or something and not allowing thoughts to come into your head, but it's a lot different than that. Look up different ways to meditate. A really easy way, the way I learned to meditate is from the app Headspace. I did a couple weeks and I fell in love, and I bought the year plan, but even if you do it for 1 or 2 months, you won't even need it for a year. You'll learn to meditate on your own with theta state music. That's what I use in my meditation videos. And you'll learn how to meditate by yourself, and it'll be way better than doing it from a guided exercise. But to start off, it's a great way to start off and learn how to meditate and get your feet on the ground. And meditation is really, really good for developing an internal locus of control, because it allows you to actually control your thoughts and to control your mind a lot more than you think you normally could. So for example, with me, like I was mentioning with the impatience, every time that something would make me impatient, I would just immediately react and immediately go to being impatient. But once I started meditating, I was able to take myself out of instead of in the situation, I could see it like from more of a bird's eye point of view, and I could see the situation for what it was, and I could see myself bubbling up and getting angry and impatient for no reason. And then I would take a step back and I would analyze the situation and say, what would be a more appropriate way to react? And from just doing this simple action, I was able to just transform any interaction in my life to fit my best need for it. Instead of just reacting to whatever anyone else said to me, I would do it with more intention, and I would intentionally do things so that it benefited me, and I wouldn't make a fool of myself. So another great way to change yourself to a more internal locus of control and to change your perception is to focus on, instead of outlining your insecurities, to focus on changing them and transforming them into something that you can control. So instead of focusing on, like, for example, your body, instead of saying, oh, you know, I'm fat, or I'm really skinny and I want to build muscle, like I'm such a skinny person, instead of focusing on that, focus on what you can control, which is, hey, all right, I'm not where I want to be. I would like to implement this diet plan. I would like to implement this workout plan so that I can slowly build muscle and be proud of myself and see these improvements in my life. And that is an internal locus of control. Another example that doesn't have to do with your body is, for example, if you're a more timid or shy person. Believe it or not, I used to be a pretty shy person, but I decided to change that one day. I don't know why, but I would always like try to blend into the crowd, and I would always try to not, you know, make anyone see me. I would try to fit into all my, you know, friend group. And instead, one day, I decided to just say hi to people walking the halls. I would be like, what's up? It's good to see you. Like, what's going on? And I would just say hi to everyone that I crossed. And it was crazy. It felt like people would actually interact with me. And it was like, wow, how hard was that? So when you're shy, as hard as it may sound, just do it. Just jump for it. Just go out and talk to people. Just go out and go to these anxiety-provoking situations and just go for it. Just start talking to people, and you'll be surprised. It's not nearly as hard as you think in your brain. Your brain always over-anticipates this. It always dramatizes something so that you won't do it. You know, you always think of the worst case scenario if you're going into a social situation and you're like, oh, well, you know, what if somebody laughs at me, or what if I say the wrong thing, or whatever. But what you'll learn is, if you take the leap of faith and just do it, it's not actually going to be as hard as your brain thought that it would be. And so when you change the behavior that you've been struggling with and that has caused you pain in the past, and you get over that behavior and you change it, remember always to congratulate yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Say, hey, you know what? You did a great job. I'm really proud of you, to yourself. And this is imperative for building new behaviors, because it's almost like you're training yourself like you're a dog. Basically, a dog's not going to sit unless you give it a treat afterwards, or unless you give it some sort of praise afterwards. It's never going to do anything if you just give it negative reinforcement. Do not give yourself negative reinforcement. Yes, it can help sometimes, but almost all of us are just out there always thinking about, oh, you know, I didn't finish that project, or God, I'm such an awful person for not doing this certain thing. But instead of that, when you actually do something right, give yourself some praise, and give yourself some chocolate. Give yourself whatever favorite special treat you enjoy. Maybe you like soda, or maybe whatever. Just give yourself something that shows yourself that you did a great job, and it will reinforce that behavior, and you'll want to do it again subconsciously. And the last thing that I wanted to outline for today is to, instead of always trying to be there for someone or always trying to do things for other people. Make time for yourself. Do things that you've always wanted to do. If you want to start painting, if you want to start going on hikes or runs, or if you want to start fishing, any hobby that you want to do that normally your friends wouldn't do or people that you know wouldn't normally do, just go ahead and make time for yourself and do them. A lot of people think that this is a more selfish approach to living your life, but it actually does the exact opposite, because since you are focusing on things that you enjoy and since you're focusing on things that make you happy, you're more of a happy person around other people when you do spend time with them, and they see it and they're like, wow, and it's a much more healthy way of being. You need that time to yourself so that you can recharge your batteries, so that you can be a better person for other people. And the absolute biggest thing that you can do not skip out on this. The absolute most important thing for you to do to change your brain and to change your reality is to focus on yourself and self-love for yourself. Now, a really great exercise that you can do that I learned off of a course called Be Extraordinary by Vishen Lakhiani is this exercise where you go into the bathroom, you look yourself in the mirror, you look into your eyes, and you say the words, "I love you," to yourself. And as weird as this sounds, it will help you to start gaining that self-love that you might lack. And this is so important for confidence. It's so important for loving other people. I believe that self-love is the most important trait that you can have, and you can develop it yourself. Just do things that make you happy and start loving yourself for who you are. All right, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to, consider subscribing. And if you enjoy this type of content, click the link down below. It'll bring you to a program that helps me immensely with things like this, things like meditation, mindset, and motivation. But as always, stay positive, stay motivated, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.